John, anybody around? Where's my staff? Do we have a mic?
Yes.
Where's the roving mic?
John.
Where's John? I think John ran. The crowd's too big. Let's open this up. Here's what we're going to do, guys. Because the crowd is so large, and let me say one thing about the crowd. I believe in incentive. I believe in the market. I believe that nobody should be taxed at higher than, here we go, guys, say 15%. I believe in a simple flat tax for all Americans. I don't care. This will drive these guys crazy. I don't care if you're wealthy. God, I love wealthy. I want to be wealthy. Did you know I'm not the wealthiest member of Congress? I want everybody to be wealthy. I want all of us to strive to be wealthy. And you know what? I want Mitt Romney to walk around and say, you know what? I'm damn glad I've been successful. And I want you to be too. I want us to be that way because that's what this country is all about. I want you. We didn't know how many people we'd get to show up today, so I incentivized my staff. I'd say there'll be a little something under the Christmas tree for you if you get folks out. And so thank you for coming out. But the reason a lot of you came out is this, hopefully, and I believe this, you feel like I do. You're scared. Young, old, middle class, wealthy, or poor, you're scared. All I'm going to ask you, and I'm going to ask you when I'm done, is you better take that fear and you better turn it into something really productive. Because the other side, guys, I hear it every day. The other side is working every bit as hard as we are who believe in freedom. The side that wants everybody to live in a $200,000 house and everybody to have black kind of health care and everybody to be able, everybody to go to college, the side that wants everybody to look and sound and be the same, because that's what they worship is equality, that side is working their tail off. Obama said he wanted to transform America. Guys, he's doing it. He's doing it. The side that believes in, the side that will take a bullet for, the side that will run through a wall for freedom had better be up to it. What Chief Justice Roberts just did for us was, he took this thing called Obamacare, and he said, you know what? Let's not, we can debate why he did it. Whether what he did was constitutional, we can debate that. But he took Obamacare, and he put it right in all of our laps. Anybody run for office. He said it's a political issue and it's a policy issue. It's up to your politicians to decide. When he says it's up to your politicians, what are they really saying? It's up to you and me and you, because who elects these guys and girls? We do. So he basically put it right back into the people's lap, and he said, okay, people, because I want to believe, and I really do believe, that John Roberts didn't think that was constitutional. He didn't think. I think he knew this was an abuse of the government's taxing authority. And so I argue with him. But I think he said, you know, it's just too hot a potato. I'm going to throw it right back at the American people. And let the American people decide in November, what do you value more? What do you value more? Do you value freedom or do you value equality? What kind of country do you want to live in? What kind of country do you want to teach your kids about? That's what he did for us. A wonderful gift. Maybe not what I would have done, but a wonderful, wonderful gift. Let's stop there. Thoughts, issues, questions. You can express a thought. It had better be brief. You can ask a question. Make it brief. Because I want to hear from everybody. Stand up and shout. Yes, we'll go right there first. Stand up, my dear, right there. I'll repeat the question.
Benjamin Franklin once said, if two people agree with each other, one of them is unnecessary. So I don't have to speak with you, Joe. I know you vote as I want you to. I need you, you need me. I want to address, actually, Tammy.
Quick, briefly.
Hero that you are, it is with gratitude for your service to this country, but you are on the wrong side of history. You are on the wrong side of understanding the constituents. We look forward to your success, Joe.
Thank you. Let's go. Oh, okay, I'll go with you, but you got a big old pamphlet scare me. What is this? Quickly, quickly.
This is a denied case from the United States Supreme Court that I got into pro se. 5 of my constitutional amendments were violated. My children were put with an abusive man. A year after this was denied, one of my oldest sons got shot because of him. I have lost my freedom. I cry at the national anthem because I've not had justice or freedom. And my kids have been taken by the state and given to DCFS, who gave them to foster care. I haven't seen my kids in 12 years, and they have not given me my rights, my parental rights.
Thank you. John, please, can you have that? Can we sit down? And then this is not staff. I'm home all week this next week, July 4th week. John, make sure we sit down with staff. Thank you. Thank you for standing up. Thank you. Hang on to that. Question. Let's go away. Right there, ma'am. Right there, John. Thoughts on anything? Go.
My question is, I may not understand this very well, so I'm coming for clarification.
That makes 2 of us.
I am a person who had been on unemployment. I started my own business. I barely make enough money to pay my bills. I have no health insurance. Am I understanding that since I cannot afford to buy health insurance, that I should be penalized for not having health insurance? And then how's that going to help me to pay my bills and to pay for health insurance?
Thank you.
I just want to understand it. I mean, is that what I'm understanding?
Well, again, hey guys, we're done playing games. We're done playing games. Understand something very clearly. President Obama and Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats told us from day one to get this thing passed, this was not a tax. This was not a tax. On and on they said it. How ironic. The Supreme Court says it's constitutional only if it's a tax. And it is a tax on middle-class Americans. It is a tax on young Americans. It is a tax on Americans who struggle. This is not a Warren Buffett millionaires and billionaires tax. This is a tax now on Americans who do not buy health insurance. You will be taxed. And oh boy, does that raise a whole host of questions? Who's going to enforce that? Who's going to track that? Who's going to keep that paperwork? On and on and on and on and on. And if you don't, what's going to happen to you? Hey, by the way, we do have doctors and insurance people and small business people in the audience. If any of you guys want to chime in, do, and I'll get the mic to you. Yes, sir, in the corner over here, John.
Advice for Mitt Romney. Here's your running mate.
I predict future happiness for Americans if they can prevent the government from wasting the labors of its citizens on the pretense of taking care of them.
Quickly, guys, you know that a lot of the bad stuff in Obamacare is going to begin next year and in 2014. Taxes, lots of taxes that we just don't talk about as much as we should. Let me just run through a few of them. Tax on Cadillac insurance plans. Oh, by the way, there is a payroll tax hike in here. There's a tax on investment income in here. A tax on prescription drugs, seniors. A tax on medical devices, seniors. Additional taxes on seniors. lots of taxes on private insurers, and I love this one, a tax on tanning beds. Lots of taxes to pay for this thing. And now we find out tanning beds. Tanning beds. Beds. Yes, sir. Right there. Right there, John. Go ahead. Use it.
Does the Republican Party at large understand that the only way to handle this is repeal Obamacare in its entirety and replace it with the few things that are actually worth keeping? Is that short and sweet?
The answer is yes. The Republican Party does understand that the first step is to repeal and get rid of the whole thing. And again, here's what's important. Have a seat, my friend. Here's what the Supreme Court just did for us. The Supreme Court just said, America, the only way you're going to get rid of it now, because the highest court in the land just ruled, the only way you're going to get rid of it is at the ballot box.
Yeah.
And I can tell you again, no matter where you are on Mitt Romney, I have no doubt, none whatsoever, that he will repeal it on day one. None. I have no doubt. And if you don't think this is close and elections really matter, because the Supreme Court now says it's a tax, doesn't take 60 votes in the Senate to get rid of it now. 51 in the reconciliation process. Yes, sir. Welcome.
Thank you. I'm also all for being self-sufficient, being responsible for yourself. But what is the Republican solution to real problems such as a person who decides not to buy health insurance because that's his or her right, gets sick, shows up to a hospital? That's question one. Question two, the example of the woman who was unemployed, starts her business, can barely pay her bills, just cannot afford health insurance. He or she gets sick and goes to a hospital. What's the solution?
Mike, John, come up here quickly. I'm going to turn to Mr. Tucker and answer the second one. The unemployed. The unemployed, what can they do when it comes to insurance? If we got rid of Obamacare, in your world and my world, what happens to folks like that? Unemployed folks who are in between jobs, what happens?
Long before Obamacare, we had a program we developed called Medicaid. And where you are, sir. There you are. Medicaid is the biggest line on the budget, on every state's budget. We have a $24.7 trillion deficit in Medicaid alone. $25 trillion in Medicare alone. So there are programs we have already established for people who are poor, people who cannot afford to pay for their medical bills. Before we established our Medicaid program, 30 years after, I should say, we passed a law that says if you're within 500 feet of an emergency room, the government has to pay for your emergency care. Now, Illinois, since we're in Illinois is sneaking faster now than California, because there were 11 Republicans and there were 4 lame duck senators right here in Illinois who decided they wouldn't wait for the U.S. Supreme Court's decision on Obamacare and decided to implement it here first, 6 weeks before the decision. What does that mean? That means that every year we have been rolling over debt from the prior year right here in Illinois. The total Medicaid, not pension, Medicaid debt is $23 billion that we have not paid. The reason that happened is because our former governor, Rod Blagojevich, who's now making license plates for us, he expanded Medicaid to far more than just the children of the poor, which is what Medicaid was designed for. So in Illinois, for many years, your health care will be paid for by the few, the proud, the 53%. What we have done now, when I say 53%, I mean 53% of this nation pays income tax, 47 pay none. We have now taken what Blago did here in Illinois, and we have expanded it all over the country. So the poor will not have to worry about fines for non-compliance for not buying health insurance, because we will be caring